In this presentation, we will take a look at the Social Security tax calculations within QuickBooks. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info. Here we are on the home page. We currently have the open windows open. In order to open the open windows, you want to go to the view drop-downs and the open windows list. We're going to start off by looking at the lists, the payroll items list. So we're going to say drop down on the list items. We're going to look at the payroll item list. This is going to be a list of items that will help us to drive through and calculate the items, including payroll taxes, including the Social Security. Here are our payroll items for Social Security. You'll note that there's two of them. There's a company and an employee. They both have a 6.2%. They have the cap of 128,400, meaning if an employee hits that cap of 128,400, then they're not going to be paying some Social Security on top of that. Once these are set up, and they're easy to set up because they will be in the standard interview process, as we say employees, and go through the setup process, we will have Social Security set up pretty automatically, it being a federal tax, and therefore something that QuickBooks can set up without too much added assistance from us. It'll be fairly standardized, and that's nice. Once these two things are set up and we process the payroll, we can take a look at those calculations by going to a Paycheck. So let's go to the banking dropdown. Let's go to the use register and go to the checking account. And if we look at the checking account, let's first take a look at this first check for Judy Jones on 12/1. Double clicking this item and double-clicking the paycheck detail, we see that there's going to be two sides to the Social Security. We have one here. This is being deducted from the paycheck. So here's the paycheck. Here's the gross pay. Here's being what's deducted, including the Social Security. It's being calculated for us, which is nice. Note that the calculation is pretty straightforward usually for Social Security, but we can run into problems. For example, here, unlike the federal income tax, we have just the 41,666.67 times the rate, the employee rate, 0.062 or 6.2%. And that's going to give us the calculation. So note that if we had to calculate Social Security for the most part for one paycheck, not all that difficult. But as we go through multiple paychecks and as we do get to some items where the paychecks are going to differ, going to become more complex, such as when the cap is reached, or if there's some other things that are going to affect the Social Security calculations, then it could be more complex. But just note that in general, the Social Security calculation much easier than the federal withholding calculation, the FIT. Also note that then we have the employer side. And that's really the most confusing thing for most people to understand is this, what is this employee and employer side items and what does that mean? And within QuickBooks, we'll talk more when we work through problems where this will show up on the reports, but just note that if it's over here, if it's on the employer side, we're paying over and above the gross pay. Whereas this is taken out of the gross pay and therefore it's not being paid over and above what we're actually paying the employees. We're just taking it out of what we pay the employees. These are being paid over and above. That's what the matching will be. It'll be calculated for us within QuickBooks, and those two payroll items will help us to navigate within QuickBooks where they should be reported, what reports they're going to be used for. If we close this back out and close this back out, we can then see Anthony Moore's paycheck. I'm going to double click on this item and go to the paycheck detail. Hourly employee, and you'll note that there's a lot more payroll items here with the matching. We've got the dental, we've got the vision, healthcare, group life insurance, an HSA account, union dues, wage garnishments. Now, most of those aren't going to affect the calculations of the Social Security, but some will. And you'll note that if we do take a look at the calculation for Social Security, doing the same method of 4,000 plus 37.5, and then that's going to be the total gross pay, these two items, times 0.062, it's coming out to 250, which is different than what the Social Security calculation is here. And so note that the point is it's not that simple because of some of these other items we have. We'll discuss exactly what those items are and how they're being affected as we go through a payroll problem. But just note that even in the case of Social Security, as we give more benefits to employees, which we would like to do, even that calculation becomes more complex. No matter what it is, it will be matched over here on the employee side. So it should be the same typically for the employee, unless there's some kind of law that makes it different. So, which it could always happen, but typically it's going to be the same. So we're going to close that back out. And then the one other thing we want to look at is Judy Jones' second paycheck. This is our high earner. If we look at her last paycheck, we can see that she's now hitting the cap. So she's over the income cap. And again, if we take a look at her total wages, which includes the bonus, $200,000 plus the 41,666.67 times the rate, 0.062, the Social Security rate, that's way over what is actually being deducted because she hit the cap. So that's just another area where we've run into problems, and QuickBooks will help greatly to stop us from messing up when we run into problems like that by having that automatic system and knowing when the cap is going to be hit automatically and stopping us from making a silly error like continuing to pay the Social Security after the cap has been reached. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info.